India's crypto industry is alive and well, but is there room for a CBDC? How has the industry weathered the regulatory threats? And from DeFi to NFTs, why you should not overlook India. Welcome to Word on the Block, the series that takes a deeper dive into blockchain and all the emerging technologies that shape our world at the intersection of business, politics, and economy. It's what we cover right here on Forkast.News. I'm Forkast Editor-in-Chief Angie Lau. Well, it has been over a year since India's Supreme Court reversed the banking ban on cryptocurrencies, but regulatory threats continue to snap at the industry's ankles. The local crypto industry, however, has not missed a beat. Mumbai-based WazirX recently launched a new NFT marketplace. Polygon in Bangalore, the tech hub in India, is being embraced by notable dApps, and leading exchanges like CoinDCX continue to see surges in users. Well, joining me today to discuss the latest crypto trends from his vantage point in India, which remains strong despite clouds of regulatory uncertainty, is CoinDCX co-founder Neeraj Khandelwal. Neeraj, welcome to the show. How's Mumbai?
Thank you, Angie. Mumbai is great. The weather is good. It's going to be summer very soon, and we are hoping for a great relief from COVID very soon. And yeah, things are going well. How about you?
Well, you know what? I don't think anyone in blockchain or crypto has missed a beat with COVID, with the weather. It seems the temperature all round when it comes to crypto remains hot since January, regardless of temperatures outside. Let's talk about the hottest thing happening right now. And I think it had a lot of crypto exchanges, certainly around the world and in this part of the world, in Asia. Very paying close attention and very excited. And that's the Coinbase direct listing on NASDAQ. It was reported that around 5 billion worth of shares were sold off, including close to 300 million from CEO Brian Armstrong. That's quite the payday from a guy that started Coinbase as a YC accelerator just 9 years ago. It closely touched 100 billion worth of valuation before selling off a little bit, obviously. But what was your reaction to Coinbase listing? What was the reaction across the industry in India, and certainly from a perspective of a crypto exchange?
So, Angie, when Coinbase was getting listed, and 2 months leading to that, uh, it was we consider it as a very significant event. I personally think that this is where traditional finance gets gets all the interest that it has in the crypto, streamlined, because a company which is valued beyond $75 billion, which is generating uh, $1.8 billion in revenues per quarter, in the last quarter, it catches eyeballs. And when it gets listed on the stock exchange like Nasdaq, it attracts eyeballs of each and every person in the traditional finance, be it any country, be it India. India is not an exception. uh, this is what Indians understand. This is what the stock exchange of India's right. The stock exchanges of India understand. The regulators take a note of such events, that okay, this industry is mainstream, right? This is a message more than anything else. This is a clear cut message that the crypto industry is huge. It's growing at a very rapid pace. Such a young company can get listed at such a huge valuation, and it gets listed after passing all the hurdles, after all the checks that is put in place by the Securities Exchange Board, right? This SEC, Security Exchange Commission, all the checks and balances put by SEC, and after that a company gets listed. So it's huge, and it gives a confidence to all the Indians and across the globe, people across the globe, that people, the crypto community is very confident after this listing. So, and now I believe this will allow more companies to get listed, gradually. This is the first one, first major listing in crypto industry. and this will lead to many companies applying for listing and getting listed eventually. So I think this is the beginning of how crypto will become mainstream.
Interesting. Do you think the regulators in India view the Coinbase listing, even despite it being based in the United States, as a point of legitimacy, that maybe this is something that they can't ignore if they want to grow their own unicorns in this space?
Yes, absolutely. So this is so regulators, might not understand always, might not always understand the technology behind the dynamic technology that is growing at a very rapid pace. They might not be up to the pace with that, but they understand the listing. It's they perceive listing as something getting legitimized by the government, by one of the large governments in the world, right? So and as per our conversations with regulators, of course India is not close to getting exchanges listed very soon, but it's in the talks, and it incites the conversations that we are having, right, with the regulators. And overall regulatory scenario has become a lot positive since last 4 months, since of
Yeah.
course because of the Coinbase listing and so many other events across the globe.
Well, if you just take a quick look at the back of the envelope calculations on Coinbase, and this is close to $100 billion valuation
Mhm,
pre-direct listing on Nasdaq a week ago, and they have 56 million users for that exchange, and
mhm,
India is a country of 1.4 billion people. And so if there is a significant, even if there's an equal percentage of uptick in India, you've just got such a larger base of potential retail customers on crypto exchanges. And yet, the regulators, however, still remain quite tepid about it. I note that RBI Governor Shekikanta Das continued to voice his concern on crypto. He also made it clear that he recognizes that blockchain is different, but crypto is still a concern. How do you take that when people, including the RBI, remain tepid on crypto?
I think their concerns are very legitimate. As a central bank, they want to protect investors. They want to protect investors from any kind of bad investments, right? That is their first work. That is their first job, right? That is how we hold them responsible for. So I think it's fine, but things have changed by a lot, because so there has been a dramatic change in how the government, the RBI, understands blockchain and crypto. So earlier, when RBI was trying to ban it, RBI was considering cryptocurrencies as something which is a currency, which is a competition to the INR, Indian rupees, right? Uh, the name suggests as cryptocurrencies, but recently it's very clear, and this is a new definition that is coming across and spreading, is that cryptocurrencies are rather an asset class and not currencies. Asset class just like gold, asset class just like stock markets, stocks, right? It's one of the other asset class which can be a very good hedge to inflation, or of course it will have more use cases with time, but this is a new technology based asset class, and that has changed a lot of things. That kind of an understanding, that new understanding has changed a lot of things. So so the Reserve Bank of India and the government do not want the cryptocurrencies to be used as a payment method, for buying and selling goods and services. But a lot of, even the person who created the banning bill, they are also in alignment that yes, it can be regulated as an asset class. They have publicly mentioned that earlier, on some news channels. So and this is very positive development, and this has happened in last 3 to 4 months. So in terms of numbers, NG, so I estimate personally that already there are more than 10 million people who have invested real money, their hard earned money, into the crypto assets, right, in India. The population is huge, and 10 million is not that big a number. but this is what we and but it's still big that the government cannot ban it because it's 10 million people who have invested, right? If you ban the crypto assets, how will it be practical? How will it unfold practically? It's really impractical to ban such a large industry. And so yeah, this is the current situation. And as per our latest discussions, right? So the government was willing to put or had a plan to introduce a bill to ban the crypto assets, right? In the session of parliament, which
Hmm.
got over just 2 months ago, but it could not lay the bill down, precisely because as soon as the news came out for the crypto ban in India, right? Each so many industry players just became very vociferous. They there was a huge campaign against the government by the community, and people like Nandan Nilekani, you would know, they are the creators of UPI payment system in India, which is the most used payment system in India, and they closely work with the government. They openly
Hmm.
came out and raised their concerns, and humbly
Wow.
asked the government to accept the technology rather than ban it right away, and put in place the right kind of regulatory environment rather than banning. And the government was not able to put the bring the bill into the parliament, and that is when we believe that the government is now in fact actually considering how to regulate it and what can be done to facilitate the transactions and just regulate it, and of course keeping in mind the investor
Yeah.
protection. Yeah.
It's once upon a time it was too big to fail, and now it is too big to ban. And certainly that policy freeze and just it not being passed, and just to have this robustness of conversation, even by the industry, shows that at least you bought some time, and in that time there will be more education, more information, more understanding, we hope. But we also saw something very interesting coming out of India. The RBI also announced that they're looking into the development of a digital rupee, or a central bank backed digital currency. How critical do you think this will be to developing what India hopes to be a digital currency, its place in the world economy, and also perhaps the remittance industry?
Yeah. When the banning bill itself stated that the government will also provide a framework so that a concept of digital currency can be introduced in the country. Whatever regulatory framework is required for the Reserve Bank of India to develop it and run it. Uh, you know, so that was very significant. And recently, our Ministry of, from the Ministry of Finance, a statement came out by Anurag Thakur, who is a prominent personality, that the government is very open to the crypto assets, right? And they are, in fact, working towards building a solid, specialty in that. And so RBI has a lot of times, even a few years ago, RBI has, since a few years, RBI has been saying that they are very much interested in the CBDC, which is central bank digital currency,
Mm-hmm.
right? They want to come out with a digital currency, and they are exploring. I mean, and it's not new. More than 80% of the central banks across the globe are trying to experiment with CBDC in various capacities. So it's not new, and but but of course, India has a India has UPI, is Unified Payment Interface, which provides you free of cost and instant transaction of money between peer to peer in peer to peer fashion, right? So RBI sees CBDCs as, in competition to the UPI payment system, which is already one of the most advanced payment system across the globe, right? So it has to be, I mean, seen how CBDCs would be, able to basically add value to the already existing payment system that we have in India, right? But so in my opinion, there were coins 1,000 years ago, right? And today we have paper money, right? Which is better than coins because it is more portable, and it is better, easier to store, etc., right? And now the next version of the money would have to be digital money, right? Where digital money, of course, is very different compared to your bank money. The money that you put in bank, it's also, you see it on your mobile phone, that's also digital, right? But there is a huge difference. uh, for example, the digital money can have an expiration date, right? Which means that if you want to kick start your economy during downtime, you can just
Right.
give people money and put an expiration date that you have to spend it before so and so date, otherwise this will get expired. So this is not possible with paper money, right? And that's how digital money is going to overshadow all the other forms of money very soon, right?
Well, I mean, that's what interest rates are for. That's what yields are for. This is what savings vehicles are for. But to your point, how do you quicken and fasten the pace of what central banks do, which is trying to stabilize the volatility in the economy and lessen it, a soft
Yes.
landing versus a hard landing. And certainly, having the digital component to be able to bake in a smart contract to the user. That's it incent. Look, how do we incentivize people to spend? We either give them a discount and or put a negative yield on
Hmm.
on money and all of that stuff. But to your point, yeah, it's an incredible technology tool.
Yes, it's an incredible technology, and this is the future. So, and what I mentioned is just one example. It just tells you how powerful a CBDC is compared to paper money. So, I think this is the understanding which with which all the central banks are already experimenting with it, including the Reserve
Yeah,
Bank of India, uh, and China has already rolled it out in the experimentation phase in various regions, right? And
yep,
that
for the
is
past year,
what,
absolutely.
yeah, and that is a trigger point, people that is a trigger point for all the governments, including the RBI, and so we are in active discussions, and but of course, it takes time. For China, China has been experimenting with it since 2014. So it took 8 9 years to the country which is very technologically advanced, globally renowned for the technological advancement. So I think it will take another 5 to 7 years for India to come out with a CBDC, but it will certainly come out with it, because there are lots of advantages for the economy, for how the government can manage the economy well. So,
Yeah.
CBDCs will play a great role there.
And I want to ask you about the latest mandate of corporates to disclose crypto holdings to the government as part of their financial statements. I'm curious, when you take a look at the landscape right now, what do you think this is going to reveal about India's institutional interest in crypto?
That's an interesting question. So, Angie, there are two things. One is how many institutions do hold crypto at the moment, right? And how many
Mm,
institutions will hold crypto when they actually, when the deadline comes for this disclosure, which is in 2022, right? So right now, as an exchange, we also have an OTC desk as a product. So that is seeing a lot of traction from the institutions. I would not say as good as maybe US, right? But it has the traction of institutions which are coming to buy bitcoins in large amounts compared to retail. It has been consistently increasing, and in the last quarter, it almost tripled compared to the last quarter before that. So this is growing at a very rapid pace, and India, have still is still working on liquidity part, fiat to crypto liquidity, which is INR to Bitcoin conversion liquidity, right? So now, as this liquidity is improving, we are seeing more and more institutions who are now capable of buying more assets because of this improved liquidity. So there is a direct correlation there. And in this quarter, we see another 3x growth in the number of institutions, and in fact the money that the institutions are putting in into the crypto assets. So it's a growing trend, and especially when the government was not able to So okay, when the government was coming up with the bill, right, institutions kind of put a break. They were not coming, at that point in time. But as soon as the parliament session got over, there is a new flood of institutions who want to come in, because now everybody believes that this is going to be
Right.
positive, and it's not going to get banned because it's now very difficult. So everybody has that kind of a mindset, and now we are seeing those institutions again coming back and investing again, right, with more money. So that
Interesting.
is the trend. And yeah, so uh, I mean,
So
I
what
see
I'm
a very
hearing from
positive
you
future.
is because So what I'm hearing from you is
Mhm.
that because that policy did not get passed, because that proposed policy did not get passed in the last legislature session, it told the crypto industry two things, and certainly corporates. It said that it signified that it suggested that the government was going to hold off. It was going to allow the industry to have that more time to thrive and potentially walk away from any banned language, and that gave people confidence to put more money into crypto. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Yes, absolutely. That is, that is how it is, and that is why. That is exactly why. Okay, so Bitcoin price, and that is true with retail also. Bitcoin price has been rising since January, right? But after this bill was not being able to place, right? Uh, the growth in retail has grown by 10x, not just 3x like institutions.
Wow.
Yeah, it's growing like crazy. It's almost exploding at exchanges. uh, we are seeing that curve of growth, that point when it suddenly, the user base suddenly grows, and our team is actually just focusing on scaling the platform, not building new features, just scaling the platform, so we are able to catch up with the increasing user base, right?
I get
So
it.
that is the kind of explosive growth that we are witnessing right now, and all this has happened because of the positive regulatory climate that is
Yeah.
there in India today.
Yeah. And adoption in crypto is fine. I mean, that's just the base, that's the first phase. Okay, sure, you're going to buy Bitcoin, maybe you dip into Ethereum, suddenly you're in altcoins. But what about that next phase of growth, like DeFi?
Yeah, DeFi is very interesting. So India has one of the largest workforce when it comes to blockchain technology and software development, right? It's in top three, probably after China and US. So naturally, a lot of Indians work either with global fintech companies in DeFi, in blockchain, right? And a lot of projects, as you mentioned earlier, in India are already there, like Matic, EasyFi, and a lot more, right? Uh, Now a new trend that is coming, right, that we have witnessed is, so earlier in the mainstream media we used to hear all about Bitcoin, right, and that's all, at best Ethereum sometimes. Mainstream media represents the state of understanding of people, right? Because people do read mainstream media in the newspapers and the standard TV channels, right, that we have. So but now we can increasingly see mention of NFTs,
Right.
right? Yes. So a lot of times I see the news, and there is so much excitement, so much positive news about NFTs and how it's going to impact the economy in a positive manner, right? So if in India today, uh, people who understand Bitcoin, who know Bitcoin, they know NFTs. It's that, it's that much how it has been already spread across.
Yeah.
So
And
DeFi,
we
I
recently reported Wazir X just launched the NFT platform, and
yes.
that is just that is just how quickly things are moving in India for sure, keeping up
Yes.
with what's next.
Yeah, so I believe, gradually, things like art forms like music, videos, etc. Even lend, they might. So there is a scope of building good businesses there. Ultimately, things flourish when there are good businesses. So I believe that NFTs can add a lot of value to the economy by curtailing the piracies of digital art, like songs and videos. So India as a marketplace has a lot of piracy problem, right? Compared to probably other countries, India has a lot of piracy problems. People don't want to spend that much money on buying a song for for example. They would just copy it from somewhere and just download it from somewhere. It works that way. So NFTs can play a great role there. NFTs can bring efficiency, you know uh, uh, allow the creators of the content to generate more money, right? And hence flourish this industry. So that is, I think, the next wave would be, when we'll see actual products based on NFTs. Actual products,
Yeah.
songs being sold as NFTs, movies being sold as NFTs. That is what, I
Yeah.
believe it's going to happen within next 5 years.
Well, Neeraj, I got to ask you though. I mean, we were just talking about regulators in India. They're still wrestling with the legal status of cryptocurrencies. NFTs haven't even been discussed in Parliament yet. It is catching like wildfire in the retail market. But how do you think that this is going to jive with policymakers and regulators? And how do you understand the legal status of NFTs in India? And do you expect some legal
Sure.
hurdles for this?
Not really, NG. So the difference is, see, the regulators are wary about the currency. Cryptocurrencies destabilizing the economy. In one way or another, or about the investor protection. Now, NFTs don't affect these things that much. NFTs are more like application of blockchain technology. And in Indian government has, almost all the ministries, even the PMO has said that they are very open. Nirmala Sitaraman, the finance minister, they has said that they are very open to the blockchain technology, and in fact India is experimenting with the blockchain technology. you know uh, our one time password OTP, now comes via blockchain technology in India, to prevent any kind of DND, do not disturb messages. So it's already there. Blockchain has been implemented amongst the network providers, and all the OTPs has to pass via the blockchain network now, for the secure. So the experimentation is going on for interbank settlement, that is already in advanced stages. So India is, as a country, is very open to blockchain technology, right? And NFT, I see NFT as just another application of blockchain technology, which is not in the financial domain directly as such. It has implications out of financial domains also, and a lot of them, just like, streamlining the distribution of digital art. It's not really related to how money works. It's not really related to how foreign exchange management works. Because when you're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of things come into picture, like foreign exchange management act, and INR, it's competition with INR, right? Stock markets, how does this flow overall? So of course government needs to be sure that it's not negatively impacting the economy, but for NFTs that's not the case. NFTs, I believe, it's just another application. As long as there is a good business model in NFTs, somebody is able to create a good business out of it, government will not have any problem, because it's more on the blockchain side rather than the cryptocurrency side.
And I think at the end of the day, what we've just discussed here is um, really the potential of India. The talent is there. The regulators seem to, their concerns seem to be assuaged somewhat by the industry. And certainly the pickup of interest amongst retail and even institutional investors in India 10x since the policy, the bill was not passed, really suggests a level of appetite that can drive India's implementation of cryptocurrency and blockchain into the next level. And certainly that is what we're watching here with your help, Neeraj, at Forkast.News. So I appreciate it greatly. Neeraj Khandelwal joining us on Word on the Block, CoinDCX co-founder. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you, NG.
And thank you, audience, for joining us on this latest episode. I'm Angie Lau, editor-in-chief of Forkast.News. Until the next time.